Tonight, health authorities prepare to roll out the COVID-19 vaccine, and testing reveals where the latest fruit fly species found in Broken Hill is from.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. It's been a year since COVID-19 changed the way we live our lives, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The rollout of vaccines will begin across South Australia and New South Wales from Monday, with promises regional communities won't miss out.
The vaccinations have landed, storage fridges have been installed and a date has been set. Australia hoping to free itself from the claws of COVID-19 with the national rollout of vaccinations to begin from Monday.
We know we are asking a lot of everybody in this huge and complex task, and much of it is being done very quickly but safely.
It's set to be one of the biggest logistical operations during our peacetime history. In the first phase, up to 1.4 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine will be distributed to border workers, frontline health workers and aged care residents and staff.
That program begins with a focus on those who are most vulnerable, either the risk of catching COVID-19 or the consequences if they were to catch COVID-19.
190 towns will receive doses next week to begin vaccinating the elderly.
Right across Australia, every state and territory, rural and regional and urban areas will be covered.
Freezers to store the jabs have so far been installed at the Royal Adelaide Hospital and Flinders Medical Centre, with hubs to be established across our region in Waiala, Port Pirie and Port Augusta. Port Lincoln and Broken Hill won't miss out during phase 1 of the rollout, with vaccines to be transported from the nearest hub.
We are sort of jointly planning in terms of how the vials will be transferred or transported across to Broken Hill.
But until the community is fully vaccinated, we're told it's vital complacency doesn't set in and testing continues.
There have been a drop in numbers. Where we are seeing increased really are those areas where there's been a recent, if you like, episode.
12 months into one of the world's deadliest pandemics, our country hoping it's on its last legs. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Facebook has today come under fire after the social media giant was found to have blocked more than just Australian news pages. South Australia's government, health, power networks, water and Bureau of Meteorology pages were also removed from public access, with some recovered hours later. Labor MPs took to the platform, saying it's disgraceful to limit public health information during a pandemic while calling for the pages to be restored. Real-time fuel pricing will finally become a reality in South Australia, with new regulations set to be in place from next month. Regional retailers will have 30 minutes to update changes, but will face hefty fines if they don't comply.
It's been a long time coming, but real-time fuel prices are finally here. Regional motorists set to reap the benefits, soon able to access up-to-date petrol information on apps or online.
Not just in the city, but across the whole state. So for the first time, regional people will also have access to accurate information.
The state government confirming the system will go live as a 2-year trial from March 19th.
And they can compare it, they can identify geographically what is a reasonable location for them and obviously pick the cheapest.
Retailers will log up-to-date information on their fuel prices, with hefty fines slapped if they don't comply.
And every instant that there is a failure to upload or upload in time, that is within the 30-minute obligation, is a $10,000 fine.
The member for Frome welcoming the news, saying regional motorists are often stung with unfair prices.
We've got to make certain we get a best deal from the oil companies themselves.
We'll identify the cheapest in the market, especially during a spike. And these spikes in between 40 and 50 cents sometimes, which for a household means they could save between 25 and 30 bucks on a tank full.
The RAA also saying it's in the process of creating its own app. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's been confirmed fruit fly reported in Broken Hill isn't the more invasive species. While it's a relief to authorities, they're now pleading with locals to continue their fruit fly fight.
Rotting fruit hiding unwanted visitors. The fruit fly invasion of Broken Hill continues.
This year, the
numbers are up compared to the past.
Local land services confirming sightings of the pest in Broken Hill are not the Mediterranean species.
It's good to know that this is a Q fly or Queensland fruit fly that has previously been out in the region.
And while that doesn't solve the problem, it does provide a sense of relief. Any new species of fruit fly notoriously difficult to eliminate.
Once you do have it, it is hard to eradicate it.
Data provided by locals proving invaluable in ruling out the arrival of medfly, the species at the centre of the outbreak in Adelaide.
I've got a trap here with probably a dozen fruit fly.
Local land care coordinator Patrick Koo saying locals need to be alert to stop Q-fly from spreading.
Being mindful and proactive in identifying that they have a fruit fly issue and reporting that problem.
Infected fruit should be collected, placed in bin liners and left in the sun to kill any larvae. While there's no obligation to report fruit fly findings, any information helps.
We've got 3 specific traps here at the moment, collected on a weekly basis and sent fortnightly back for examining.
It's always good to be talking with the community and finding out what's going on, because we only have a certain amount of traps in a certain amount of time.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, Quorn SES receives new and improved equipment to aid in rescues. And a Waiala Scout group honours a late and well-loved member. Welcome back. A regional state emergency service unit is even more ready to take on future call-outs after receiving a new buggy. Volunteers say the piece of equipment will help the team carry out rescues more effectively.
Rescue missions just got a whole lot easier for these volunteers. The Quorn SES unit receiving this new UTV to assist with call-outs in the heart of the Flinders Ranges.
There's many walking trails and things around the Flinders Ranges. And if someone injures themselves and they can't walk out, rather than have a heap of people go in, any amount of luck we'll be able to get this little beast in there and pop them on the back.
It's been long awaited, and volunteers say it's another tool in the shed to aid them in their work.
Any piece of equipment that we get it's going to make life easier for the volunteers and make it safer. We're happy and, it's just a great thing.
Each member of the unit undertaking training to ensure safety for themselves and future patients.
We all do a 2-day training course and we have various sort of tests with dropping off of steep bridges and braking tests and all sorts of bits and pieces just to make sure everyone's trained properly.
With Laura and Waiala the closest spots with UTVs, District Officer Mike Baker says it's a great asset for the unit.
Having a UTV at Quorn does greatly increase that call receipt dispatch time and gets help sooner to those who need it.
Also saying without it, they would have to resort to manual methods.
One recent tasking which happened in Wilpena where crews had to manually lift and carry a casualty in excess of 5 kilometres. So this is a very good resource.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The first meeting of a new support group for prostate cancer patients has wrapped up in Broken Hill. The group was established to share knowledge and show those living with the disease they're not alone. Guest speakers, resources and social events will also be included as the service develops. Meetings will be held on the 3rd Thursday of every month at Uniting Far West. Port Pirie Uniting Care volunteers have been recognised for giving their time and helping out at the non-for-profit organisation. Many were honoured for their hard work across a range of sectors in town. This lunch originally postponed, but today members met at Solomon Town's club rooms to celebrate.
A place like Goods at Gertrude is our largest site, so we have currently about 50 volunteers there. But then we've got volunteers that do admin all the way from Peterborough through to Kadina.
Gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning and gives me a purpose for the day. I encourage everyone out there who's got the time to give it a go.
More residents are being encouraged to consider volunteering. The Waiala Scout community has remembered and honoured the life of much-loved member, the late Greg Curnow. The group holding a memorial service for the Scout leader, saying he touched the hearts of many.
Described as a great man and a great leader, Greg Corno's recent passing, a huge loss to many in the Waiala community.
He had a lot of ideas, and for somebody who was incapacitated the way he was, he did a lot of work.
Has a wicked sense of humour. He was really, if he got his teeth into something, he would worry it until he got the whole thing done.
Greg was a wonderful bloke. He came into our lives as a leader, initially as an assistant venture leader.
Part of the Waiala Scout family for more than 10 years, he went to take on many roles within the group.
And he achieved his wood beads, which are these here, and the woggle, that one there. And that signifies that he was a qualified leader.
These members reminiscing on his life and achievements over the years.
The things that really stands out was the district camp that he organised for our scout group and also the venturers. And we had that down at Camp Tucker, which is about 50 k's out of Waiala.
It was funny watching him and another scout leader do the bacon and eggs for breakfast that morning.
The group is holding a memorial service for Greg tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon, with family and friends invited to attend.
His loss is a big void for us, and there was so much that he did with not just with scouting but in the community in general.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Council seeks Waiala community input on the Clean Seas proposal. And South Augusta Football Club gears up to host a charity ball. Hello again. Students at Waiala's Stewart High School are among the many who spent the day participating in a digital thumbprint program. Phone and internet provider Optus running the yearly initiative, aiming to help children make the right choices when connecting online.
Cyberbullying, the main topic on today's agenda. An Optus team bringing its educational seminar to Waiala's Stewart High and other schools across the region.
We do feel that it is important that, as we are one of the largest providers, that we do also educate youth in safe ways of operating and navigating that online world.
This Optus digital thumbprint program, touching on a range of online topics, including digital safety, identity, and how to decipher real and fake news. Already proven to be a success, this facilitator says the program has been running for a number of years.
Optus Digital Thumbprint has been around since 2013, so we have seen over 300,000 students across Australia since then, but at the moment we are concentrating on our regional run.
Spending the week touring across multiple Waiala high schools, the team will head to Port Lincoln and Mount Gambier next.
Although that will be a digital run, so obviously with what the world's been seeing as well, we have managed to now be able to create not only face-to-face workshops but digital workshops.
The program receiving a positive response from students, with many taking away valuable lessons.
I think these classes are really helpful. People do need help from cyberbullying.
We've been receiving a lot of really great responses, particularly in this regional run over the last few weeks.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Waiala City Council has approved a fish farm operator to begin commencing its consultation process with various stakeholders. Council says it's ensuring the community has a say on a proposed development by Clean Seas at Point Lowly before any agreement is finalised. An independent marine engineering assessment of both the Waiala and Point Lowly marinas is currently underway.
It has been commissioned. There will be site investigations done as early as next week, and we expect to receive the report within probably about 3 weeks.
Council also saying the state government, which has previously approved licences for the fish farms within Fitzgerald Bay, is supporting the project. Port Pirie Council is encouraging residents to save the date for this year's Clean Up Australia Day event. The community will be rolling up their sleeves next month, with the event kicking off at Solomon Town Beach. From 10 o'clock, locals can help clean up the area. The annual event will also be held in other regional towns across the Spencer Gulf. Preparations are well underway ahead of South Augusta Football Club's Midsummer Ball this weekend. With this year's proceeds going towards breast cancer, organisers are encouraging the community to get behind the cause.
Swapping the footy boots for dancing shoes. South Augusta Football Club making final preparations ahead of the Pink Lady Midsummer Ball this weekend.
We're hosting a fundraiser for Breast Cancer Network Australia.
This section of Central Oval set to be transformed with a 30-metre marquee, featuring food, drinks and live entertainment from Adelaide band The Incredibles. All proceeds raised going towards the cause.
1 in 7 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in Australia, and they say from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night, 55 women will be diagnosed.
For this event organiser, the night hits a little closer to home. 2 years ago, Souths held their first ball, aiming to raise funds for multiple sclerosis after learning people connected to the club were suffering from the disease.
And around about that time, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, so we decided that our next fundraising event would be something to do with breast cancer.
All money raised said to help support women and men suffering with breast cancer.
Someone going through it right now, especially someone like Sue, who is also organising it, will be able to see on the night how much support and, you know, she and everyone else that's going through it has behind them.
Tickets can be purchased online. Katrina Mussin, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our local fishing experts will share their tips for the weekend, and we'll have the weather details with Alex. Welcome back. Cooler weather set for the weekend may make for more comfortable fishing conditions. Here are our experts with their top tips.
Welcome to another week around the Gulf fishing tips from Port Pirie. It's amazing at the moment. If I'm sitting at the boat ramp, we can see the boat ramp's absolutely chock-a-block full of cars. So it does mean the blue swimmer crabs have finally arrived. They're on full pace at this moment. Good size right throughout the area. So anywhere you would like to go from Port Davers up through to Barrows Beach, you should be able to find yourself a good feed of crabs. There is some garfish as we talked last week, so they're a good opportunity as well if you want to have a crack at those. And by all means, have a great weekend. It's going to be cooling down a little bit better, so I think you'll be able to get out and have a good shot at it. We'll see you next week.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta to Jewel the North. Well, the crabs have come on and they're fairly widespread, right down from the bottom of the Flinders, right up actually as farther north as the Shoreline Caravan Park. Some really good signs as well, some very small Tommy Ruffs and snapper getting sighted around there, and also the small crabs, so hopefully that'll be good for the seasons going forward. There are some nice big flathead getting caught along the front of the shacks, and also on the big high tides in the morning down on the mangrove, salmon up and around the creeks, and as always just try for those silver whiting over in the middle banks during the low tide, and on the high tides up along the front of the shacks there. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Hi, Waiala's fishing tips this week. The blue swimmer crabs have certainly heated up right across town. Really good numbers, most boats hitting their bag limits in a short amount of time. Best area to target is south of Waiala. The northern grounds have been a little bit quiet, really starting to heat up down south. Some really good garfish coming off all areas out in the boats, and land-based off the local jetty, garfish and crabs.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. It's been a sunny and hot start to the week in the Gulf, and those conditions continue today. From 3 p.m, Waiala was sunny and reached 37. Broken Hill got to a top of 33 degrees, and Cleve was very hot and sunny, a top of 38. Taking a look across the rest of the region today, very hot and sunny in Port Augusta, Cooper Pedy, Kadina and Port Pirie all reached a top of 38. Port Lincoln sunny and 36. Clare got to a top of 33. Woodner had the region's top of 39 degrees, and Adelaide was a high of 37. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud in the far west with a trough is causing virtually no rain. Skies are generally clear elsewhere under a high pressure ridge and hot dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell also around 1 metre. Cloudy conditions across the Gulf tomorrow. Port Lincoln 32, Cleve got to a top of 37. Woodner very hot and partly cloudy, set to reach a top of 38 degrees. Waiala very hot and cloudy, also 39. Similar conditions in Port Augusta 41, Kadina cloudy and 36. Port Pirie reached a high of 40, Clare partly cloudy 37 degrees there, and sunny in Broken Hill 35. Taking a look further through the week now, those cloudy conditions continuing into the weekend, said to be a top of 37 in Cooper Pedy, a degree cooler in Broken Hill, 36, Port Augusta and Woodner both expected to reach 31, 30 degrees in Port Pirie, Kadina 28, Port Lincoln 23 and Waiala and Adelaide both 27 degrees. Cooler conditions on Sunday, sunny in the far north and east of the Gulf, Broken Hill with the region's top of 36 degrees, Cooper Pedy 34, a top of 28 in both Port Augusta and Port Pirie, Woodner set to top 29 degrees, Kadina 26, 22 in Port Lincoln and set to reach a high of 25 in Adelaide and Waiala. And those fine conditions continuing on Monday with slightly cooler temperatures, 31 and sunny in Cooper Pedy. Similar conditions in Broken Hill, 29, Port Augusta 27, cloudy and 28 in Port Pirie, Kadina and Woodner 26, Waiala and Adelaide 25, Port Lincoln forecast to have the region's lowest temperature of 23 degrees. So Ruby, some relief on the way from those hot and sunny conditions we've endured so far this week, but the rain is staying away for the foreseeable future. That's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. And John Hunt will be joining you and the team tomorrow night. Good night.